I love this sport. I love the feelings that it gives me. In this life, you can get material wealth, you can get all sorts of things, but the real treasure, I think, is these feelings. And to me, this is a feeling I'll treasure forever.
I'm in it. I'm a lifer, right? Like, I'm going to arm wrestle forever. I don't think I'm going to stop. Yeah, until it kills me.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this very special expose on Devon Larratt. This piece came about by chance. It was a private conversation between myself and Devon Larratt that we have now put together with his permission, and it has become one of the most amazing pieces of content in arm wrestling history. Ladies and gentlemen, please sit back, relax, and enjoy Devon Larratt until I die. What truly is amazing about Devon Larratt is that he was able to rise to the top of the sport of arm wrestling, all the way to being considered the world's #1 ranked arm wrestler, both left and right, during a time where he was an active Special Forces member of the Canadian Armed Forces. This feat in itself deserves adoration and acknowledgement. To be able to be actively deployed in such rigorous and dangerous situations and yet still continue to rise to the top of a sport that, to be honest, had plenty of monsters in it, is truly an impressive feat.
I think a big part of it is, when I think about my athletic career, from the beginning till now, I've always loved arm wrestling. I've always been crazy about it. But the truth is, until I got out of the military, it really was, I was in an extreme, I was in a job that, did not allow me to specialize as an athlete to the degree that, one can, right? I was winning Ironman. I was the Forces Athlete of the Year back when I was in the regs. Even I was a CISM basketball player, so I played basketball for Canada. All the while, I was doing very well at arm wrestling,
Straight away, we can see that this man is a one of a kind. Not only was he a member of the Canadian Special Forces, but he was their Soldier of the Year in their athlete sense. He was also representing Canada in basketball, all the while growing in his dominance in arm wrestling. This man truly is a phenomenal athlete, and his rise was only just beginning.
And when I went to Special Forces, it was difficult because I had this, great love for the sport, but they really didn't like me competing. They really didn't like it. They didn't like me drawing any attention to myself. So, a lot of the objections that I got, I had to very carefully plan which events I was willing to kind of, risk. It's not like I was risking my career, but they weren't happy about it. So I had to kind of very carefully select my opponents, select when I was going to get to do it. Which was good. And, I did enjoy the way I did it because it really let me kind of dissect each opponent bit by bit. And I think that actually is, when you're facing really good opponents, and it's different than training for a tournament. That restriction actually forced me to, I think, become a much better arm wrestler, because I was just focusing on all these super great guys, really understanding them, really breaking them down, one at a time, until I got to 2008, when I faced John.
Imagine it. You're a Special Forces soldier. On one hand, you're sitting there protecting the good of humankind. And you want to also grow as an athlete in this great sport of arm wrestling, and you're torn between your ability to go and compete publicly and represent and climb those ranks that exist. And then on the other side, you've got this position where you have to stay private. You have to stay secretive. No one can know what you're doing. I can only imagine the difficulty that would have presented Devon and his family and his support crew and the promoters and the athletes. It would have been a very tough time.
And I mean, people say all sorts of shit about the John match, but the truth is that match did get me ranked number one in the world. While I was fucking actively being deployed and, like eating rations and fucking, going out on like, long range fucking patrols and fights. And, so at the peak of my military career, I also got to where I was ranked number one in the world. The same is true in like 2012 or 13 when I beat Pushkar. I was still actively being deployed. I was still going overseas and fighting people, like actually fighting people, not arm wrestling. Like I was involved in the wars, that whole period. And I do not think that it's possible to do that now. It might be.
This factor here has to be one of the most significant things about Devon Larratt. His ability to be actively deployed for somewhat 10 months of the year and yet still be able to achieve that number one rank in the world. When he defeated John Brzenk in 2008, he took that title on the right arm in the vast majority of people's opinions, officially crowning him at that point. Same again would happen in 2012-13 when he would defeat Andrei Pushkar on the left arm. I really do think this is one of the most amazing achievements in sport. To be actively deployed like he was, fighting real wars, and still being able to climb to the number one rank, both left and right arm.
Right around the end of my reign is when the fucking super monsters started to come out. Not like there hadn't been super monsters in the past, but now we were starting to see super monsters that trained specifically for arm wrestling. There were 300-pound dudes, there were 350-pound dudes, back, around the turn of the millennia. But most of these dudes, they weren't arm wrestlers. They were like gym dudes who arm wrestled, And when I got out, a lot of things have changed. I feel like now is more like the first time in my career where I'm really actually super dialed in on arm wrestling. I've always been dialed in on arm wrestling. I've always loved it. But now it's much different. Because now I'm becoming a super monster.
This is a really interesting moment in the career of Devon Larratt. That point where he goes from Anakin to Darth Vader and he embraces all that it is, chasing the super monsters of the sport, as he described. This chapter of Devon's physicality is one that is so very evident. The biggest, the baddest, the strongest Devon Larratt that's ever walked this earth is in existence. And it leads him to a very different place and a very different style of preparing for arm wrestling.
But, I feel like I studied the sport from kind of a different perspective for a very, very, very long time. And now, at this later age, which is really not typical, I'd say, when it comes to most arm wrestlers, it's like I'm a little bit like if you talk about Star Wars, like for the first, 25 years of my life, I was very much like a young Anakin. Right. Like I really embraced the light sides of the sport. And it's only in these past few years that I am now embracing, all of it. But I have so much of the other stuff. It's like I'm now becoming a complete fighter. And the whole Way of the Giant Pumpkin thing, I really believe that actually, I really believe, I mean, you know that you do the same thing. I think that this style of training in time will be the norm, not the weird thing. Like, I think that most arm wrestlers at a high level will embrace this theory after dudes like me and you and a few others just, after doing it for like 5 years, completely blow everybody out of the water with the trajectory and the gains that are possible.
The giant pumpkin theory that Devon speaks of here is the concept of going all in on simply one arm, one hand involved in arm wrestling. And Devon Larratt, as you heard, he's been in it for 2.5 years, and he's seeing enormous progress. The ability to turn himself into a monster like Oleg Zhok, who has just an overdeveloped single arm side. Devon Larratt embraces this training to pursue the big mega super monsters.
Like, I'm seeing it now, like, and I've done it for 2.5 years. Like, my right is now like on this totally different level. And my left is actually really good too, but my right, and it's as a result of this training for sure. It's just, and I don't think it's going to stop. That's the thing. Like, I think in 5 years, I think that you can create yourself to be Oleg Zhok. I don't know. I think one of the things that is also kind of more unique about me is that I've always just, like, at the real base of it all, I've just always really, really loved it. And because I've really, really loved it, I've never kind of put it down. I've never stopped, trying to find a way to do it, find a way to enjoy it, find a way to make it interesting and fun. And I think that that's probably evident as a result of my evolution and my change of tactics and styles throughout the years, through injuries, I had 3 surgeries, right? And none of them stopped me from arm wrestling. Nothing stopped me from arm wrestling. Nothing has.
And that's one of the special things about Devon Larratt. As we saw in his rules to being successful or great in the sport of arm wrestling, the first rule is love the sport. He does that. It's so clear that he loves the sport. His second rule of never stop. He's lived that so true. Devon Larratt has evolved through injuries and surgeries. He's never stopped. He's changed his style when he's needed to, and he continues to add layer upon layer of strength and conditioning specific to arm wrestling. And it lifts him to a place where he is truly one of the best people in the sport, no matter who you are. It's phenomenal stuff. Now, what we're about to discover next is the mentality behind the man, because not only is he incredibly impressive in a physicality sense, Devon Larratt is a monster of mind games as well. Let's now open up chapter 2, ladies and gentlemen. Devon Larratt and his mentality. Devon, you said in your recent video, where I think it was titled "Fear," you described that you seek it out, like that's what keeps you going.
Right. Yeah, of course. And I don't think I'm alone. Like, I think that what I'm saying is the truth for so many people. It makes a person scared. It's like it's why people like to be the underdog. It's a psychologically better place to be. If people think that they can do things, I don't know. It's not super appealing. Like say there's a local tournament. I know I'm going to win. I 100% know I'm going to win. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't change me. It doesn't make me grow. Like, you give me a challenge and a challenge like Levon, dude, I don't think I think I give myself a low chance. Not like, oh, I might be able to do it. Oh, it's 50-50. No, man, Levon's going to fucking murder me.
Wow, hearing those words right then from Devon, that Levon is going to murder him, that shows you straight away. I'm sure there's more to come, but it shows you straight away how seriously he takes the challenge of conquering his fears, of conquering the impossible. It's what drives him at the end of the day. It's what gets him out of bed. It's what makes him keep on moving forward. Devon Larratt, he loves it.
You know, but I'm absolutely like, I am, dude, I've got a fucking death wish. You know, like I'm actually legitimately upset. Like, there's a big part of me that's upset that I didn't die in the war. Like, I should have died, dude. And I'm always seeking out kind of ways to kill myself. And the Levon match, you know, is it a reflection of that? Maybe a little bit. Like, I love things where the risk is super high, and it forces me to live quicker, to learn more, to force myself to try and do things perfectly. Like, there's a big difference between doing things at like 60%, 70%. Fuck, it's so hard to do things 100%. But extreme fear will make you do things perfectly. You know, if you legit think somebody's going to kill you, or you live much better, way cleaner, way more precisely to deal with the threat.
That has to be one of the most powerful things I've ever heard. Devon Larratt, that he almost wishes that he died on his active service, that he felt that he should have died. And it's this same fear that drives him to operate in arm wrestling. He says that he's calculated, he's accurate, he just is more efficient when that genuine fear is there and present. And the Levon match even has similarities, seeking out the extreme situations just so he can operate at the highest level. Amazing.
So I love arm wrestling, and I want basically arm wrestling to shape my lifestyle. And the only way to do that is to give myself things that I actually don't think I'll be able to do, because it makes me eat. It makes me go to bed, you know, when I'm supposed to. It makes me do the work, the boring, fucking stupid work that I hate to do. Like, I hate to lift these weights, right? But I'll do it, you know, 4 times a day, like 3 times a day, like every fucking day of my life. Like, yeah, that's another thing. Like, I mean, people take time off. I don't. I never have. Like, the only time I've ever taken off throughout my entire career is before I compete. I don't take days off. Never have. And I think that I've put in more time in the gym than any arm wrestler by a fucking margin. Like if it's double, I'm not surprised. I also think I've put in more time on the practice table than any other arm wrestler who's ever lived, but by a margin as well. Yeah, I just think that I've spent more time immersing myself in the arm wrestling lifestyle than most people have. And now it's even more. Like, I mean, I think I could have said those things even while I was serving. And now, dude, from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed, it's like with a few little family interruptions. Like, I mean, I still have to, like, you know, take my kids here or there, or, you know, do little things. But man, I'm training. I'm getting ready to arm wrestle and fight, like, all day long.
Wow. How about that? If you ever wondered what it took to get to the top of the world of arm wrestling, that's it right there. Devon declares that he's certain, by a margin, that he has spent more time in the gym with arm wrestling specific training than anyone else in existence. He also says that he spent more time on the table than anyone else in existence. This has to be seen as one of the most admirable qualities of Devon Larratt. His relentless consistency in his approach to this sport truly has taken him to where he is today.
So, I mean, I guess the social media thing, I think that I'm one of the front runners who I'm one of the first ones to kind of open that door to make it normal in the sport. Like, I think that I'm one of the first guys who's really actively utilized the tools of YouTube and, Facebook and Instagram, whatever, to use it in terms of athletic performance on in a match, right? Like, drop little things here or there, start talking shit early. And I think that in the match, I've really normalized, stretching things as far as they can be stretched. And I think that even today still, I think that I'm a big reason why there's all this discussion on rules and whatever, because people are aware that I am going to stretch rules to their maximum capacity. So I think in that sense, I think that I am somewhat responsible for kind of an overhaul of the rule system in arm wrestling, because guys like me will attempt to break them. Like, it's like you're making a program and you want somebody to test the app and see if they can break it. Well, I'm that guy, right? Like, you give me a set of rules, and I will fucking beat the piss out of it, so that if there are holes in the rules and they can be exploited, I'll do that, right?
What a beast is Devon Larratt when it comes to mind games and social media presence. Devon Larratt has weaponized his ability to communicate to his opponent through social media. And it's proven effective on the table as well. His opponents get upset, they get ruffled by it. And as Devon Larratt declared as well, he will push the rules to the point of breaking point. He almost feels like he's responsible for the evolution of the rules, because he will be that person that gets in there and just breaks it down and takes it to its absolute limits. Devon Larratt's mind games and his mental approach to this battle or this warfare that is arm wrestling is second to none. Now, what we're going to experience next, ladies and gentlemen, is regarding his legacy. Devon Larratt is one of the most significant arm wrestlers in the history of the sport. Love him or hate him, Devon Larratt has achieved huge things. His legacy will remain for forever in this sport. But what we're about to hear now is Devon's perspective on his legacy. So let's do that. Let's open up Chapter 3, Legacy. Your legacy that you're setting up. You made the comments there that you're always looking to die, with the words you use, which is full on. Like, I think your legacy is being set up in a rich and deep way. Whether you're on the John side of the fence, the Devon side of the fence, your legacy is deep, man.
Oh, I know, and that's why I don't like to fight it too much. Like, I love John, and I've been inspired by John. There's things that I've done that John hasn't done. I mean, John is. I don't like to attack John. It was difficult for me when John and I had our match, because I really don't like to attack him, because he's like a saint for all of us. I was the first person to hold the right and left title at the same time in the open weight division. After that, it's like every single guy did it, but I was the first. I kind of broke the ice there.
I love that right there. Hearing Devon express that he has so much love for John, that he considers John a saint and someone that he's always looked up to, and that he doesn't like to attack him, that gave me a lot of respect for Devon. Because at the end of the day, we know John Brzenk is the greatest arm wrestler of all time. His legacy is essentially untouchable. But Devon Larratt has done things that John hasn't done. Devon Larratt has grown the sport. Devon Larratt has dominated the sport. And in many respects, Devon Larratt is in the debate for the GOAT. But I loved hearing that from Devon, that he respects John so much, despite the fact that Devon, in the eyes of the fans, is sometimes pushed forward as the GOAT over John. I loved hearing that piece.
And it's neat, you know, like after I beat John in 2008, it's really true that I couldn't get a match. I could not. The fucking world went quiet for me. About a year, like all the Europeans, no one would pull me. We had like a whole bunch of people like lined up before the John match. Then I pulled John, Arson, Andre, Dennis, total fucking silence. Like no more communication on it. Like done. And it was like that for a while. And then, you know, I started to get more active. My injuries started to come out more, and I started to get more active. The day that I had my surgery, the day that I posted that I was having my surgery, I had like 10 offers for a super match. It was incredible.
Now, this right here is one of the biggest points in contention. If you're in the debate, which all arm wrestling fans are, if you're in the debate of, is Devon Larratt legitimate? Is he really as good as the Devon Larratt fans say he is? Then this is a big point. A lot of people will go out there and say, Devon Larratt never faced the Eastern European monsters. After he beat John in 2008, why didn't he pull Saplenkov? Why didn't he seek out the best guys there were? And the answer there we see from Devon is that it went silent. None of them wanted to face Devon Larratt after he beat John in the manner that he did in 2008. None of them wanted to face him after he beat Andriy Pushkar in the manner that he did. Whichever way you see it, that's the way the story's told from this side of the fence. I don't know. Either way, awesome stuff.
You know, going down in the 225, you know, after the surgeries was really nice. I really enjoyed that time period. I'll probably get there again at some point, you know, after this kind of stupidity is somewhat satiated. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Thing is, I'm going to do this. I think everybody knows that I'm in it. I'm a lifer, right? Like I'm going to arm wrestle forever, competitively, promotionally, just barefoot, fucking walking around. Probably forever. I don't think I'm going to stop. I have no plans to retire. Like it's not like, oh, if I do this, then I can stop, or if I do this, then I can stop. No, it's really not like that at all for me. It's like, I'll just keep doing it.
Until you die.
I think so. Yeah. Until it kills me.
This characteristic here, this is Devon Larratt. This is him encapsulated, wrapped up all in one moment. Devon Larratt will arm wrestle till the day he dies. He loves the sport. He breathes the sport. He is the sport. And arm wrestling is Devon Larratt as much as Devon Larratt is arm wrestling. What he's done in there, in the way that he just stays so ingrained in the sport, is something that I think everyone looks up to. And it really does show you exactly what it is to be at the core of Devon Larratt. The man is something special, and he's leaving a big legacy behind.
Again, it's not unique to me, but I think they've probably done a very good job of embodying it. And, you know, we all learn that, you know, actually arm wrestling is a huge part of the sport, right? Obviously, you know, if you want to be an arm wrestler, you have to arm wrestle. And I think that the whole cosmic punch theory about how, you know, you need to touch 1,000 hands, 10,000 hands is something that I've really taken. I've taken ownership of that, and that's going to be another big thing that I'm going to continue to do. Is I'll just keep touching people like all around the planet.
This, guys, has to be one of the coolest things that Devon Larratt has brought to the sport. The cosmic punch theory, where he travels the world, he grips up with as many people as he possibly can and just exchanges energy with them. Guys, I want you to comment below. Have you arm wrestled Devon Larratt? If you have, let me know. It's in the pinned comment. Let me know when and where you arm wrestled Devon Larratt for the first time.
Like, I've done, over my career, I've done a lot of travel where I've just, gone to Israel, gone to Sweden, gone to the East, gone to Australia, all over the States, where it's not got a lot to do with competition. Like, I've traveled just to go arm wrestle these people all around the world. And I think that it's certainly enriched me to basically, basically every style and every opening that you have in arm wrestling. I think I've seen about everything. And that's going to continue as well. Like, after Levon, I will probably do like another massive cosmic punch thing. It might be a year or so, maybe a year and a half, that I'll just travel and just train and absorb and fucking, go from club to club and just pull people all around the planet, and it'll have very little to do with competition. It'll just have to do with touching, 10,000 hands. And I do think that there's a lot to that when you talk about like culture, like when you talk about the growth of the culture of the sport. I think that's one of the coolest things about the sport of arm wrestling is how you can be an incredible arm wrestler, like really good, and never touch a weight. You just need to hang out with people and have fun and absorb each other's energy.
It's without doubt that Devon has influenced the culture of the sport, and he touches on it there with his cosmic punch, his world tour theory. You can actually become one of the best arm wrestlers alive just through arm wrestling. You don't need to touch the weights. As he said, he believes he's experienced just about every opening there is, every counterattack, every defense, everything, every shape that there is. Because of this cosmic punch approach. It really is a unique signature of Devon Larratt's, and it's something that if you haven't done as an arm wrestler yourself, you ought to try.
And I think that for a lot of the parts of my career, I've been kind of a walking embodiment of that. Like, there's been matches that I've gone into with very little, weight prep. It's been all just, when I pulled Todd Hutchings, that was basically the Australian tour for a month or whatever it was, come home, rest for 10 days, pull Todd Hutchings. Yeah, I don't know, buddy. I hope you can do a good one. It's always good to see good videos, because I see the same shit over and over, right? Like, yeah, it's kind of a bit cookie cutter, but
I think what you've shared here is amazing. It's unreal.
Yeah.
Hey, Devon. Man, what you've just rolled off is one of the most phenomenal things I've ever heard. Yeah, that richness that you just described. Oh, that's crazy, man.
Yeah,
good stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, man, I just thank you, thank you so much for this interview, man. Even just on a personal, regardless of product, it was just cool to fucking hear all that, man. It was a mega story, and I've known that, but I haven't heard it said like that. I'm like, oh shit, wow, it's awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, dude.
All right, you take care, man.
We'll talk soon.
All right, bye.
Yeah, you too. Bye bye.
Well, ladies and gents, that concludes Devon Larratt Until I Die, the most phenomenal expose, piece of content that I've ever had an opportunity to be involved in. I want to thank Devon Larratt personally for this. It was an amazing piece to hear that tone and that authenticity. It was different and unlike anything you would hear in an interview or a typical standard presentation from Devon Larratt. So I hope you got lots out of it. Guys, please leave us a comment below what you think about this amazing video. Please share it, and of course hit subscribe. All right, guys, take care.